Are you ready? Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Expanded Woman Network podcast, hosted by Sherry Gideons and Misty Willis.
Hello, everyone. Today, I wanted to introduce you to somebody amazing. Her name is Jess Campbell. She's an angel intuitive healer, and I've been blessed to just meet her recently. And at first, I was like, okay, I got to talk to her. So she helps with clearing. And she's going to talk to us about toxic relationships today. So welcome, Jess.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today. It's awesome to be here.
Welcome. Well, we're so grateful to have you. I mean, I've really been looking forward to this conversation all week. So welcome.
Yay, I'm excited. I love talking about angels and what I do because fun.
It is fun. Wonderful. It is fun. So tell us a little bit about yourself really quickly, and then we'll, talk about the toxic relationships.
Sure, no problem. So I was born in Abilene, grew up in Albuquerque. I ended up doing a traveling sales for about 10 years of my life. Did two kinds of direct sales, and then I ended up stumbling into the medical field in 2009. And so in 2011, I graduated with my associate's degree and became a medical assistant. And then down the road a little bit, I stumbled upon a spiritual awakening about 3 years ago. And that brought up my gifts that I have. And because I had been suppressing them, I was in a 10-year toxic marriage, and previous toxic marriages one marriage, previous toxic relationships. And anywho, the spiritual awakening helped me to bring my gifts to help other women out there. And so I established You're Grounded, which is a holistic healing practice of mine.
Wow, I love it. I love it. That's so amazing because so many of us, even myself, part of my story that involves my own awakening was the toxic relationships, trying to fix people, trying to be the savior mentality, because all in the mindset that I thought that if I could fix them, then I would finally receive love and affection. So tell us about how you help women with these toxic relationships. Where do you start?
Well, the biggest thing is I talk my talk, and even that's why my clients really love me, because I'm an honest girl. I've learned that my failures, my stumbles, my embarrassments just help pave the way for other people. So apparently I'm going to have a lot of those. And so when I talk to somebody, I am an intuitive, so I can feel you. So my sessions work better than a traditional counseling session, because I can, even if you're lying about it, I can feel it, and I know whether or not it's correct. And I can usually tell what you're holding down too. So it's about me observing, and then I'll go and we'll just talk about it, because the biggest part of healing is talking. And the biggest problem in America right now is that nobody wants to talk. Everybody wants to be emotionally closed off, because somewhere somebody told them, if you just close off your heart and make it cold, you'll make it in this world. And I'm finding that that's not true. You can live in this world and love. And if you love them and they don't love you back, take that and say, I gave you that love, and go find somebody else who loves you. But don't hold on to the people that don't love you, because they don't, it's not going to be helpful in the end. It's just going to hurt you more than anything. So that's where I usually start out a conversation.
Yeah. I'm very much like you, Jess. I am very intuitive, energy-wise, and I've been through a lot of the same toxic, horrible relationships that really helped me grow and figure out who I was eventually. not till my like late 30s, but you know, it happened. So never too late, right?
At least you learn, because you know there's some people out there who will deny until the end of their time, unfortunately, because some people, I've learned that, you know, fear comes in many different forms. And the biggest reason why people don't do self-care and self-love is not because they don't want to be a better person. It's scary. And some people are, their karmic lessons are just a little too much that they can't face it. And I've had people be in my, I don't take clients for more than 6 months, because after that, I feel like I'm an enabler. I'm not, you're not doing anything, I'm doing it for you. But I've seen people after 6 months still go right back. And I'm like, that's okay, because you can only spread the seed. And so that's the biggest thing, is if you learn baby steps and lessons, just learn the lesson and keep it moving, but don't hold on to it.
So where do you think that this starts? I mean, go back to the beginning, you know, in relationship to where this starts for people.
So the biggest thing that I have found is, even including myself, it starts in childhood. It starts when you were a little kid and that person that you adored and thought the moon and stars of went and told you something and hurt your feelings. And like, so you went and spilt a cup of Kool-Aid on your mom's white carpet and she called you an ignorant little kid or whatever. And you're like, man, that hurt my feelings. But that didn't just hurt my feelings. Now I've internalized that I'm an ignorant little kid. And now I'm going to walk around the rest of my life, and now I'm going to go and try to live up to something. And anyone who calls me an ignorant little kid, guess what? It's going to trigger that in my mind, and I'm going to go, yes. So,
you are right.
Example, toxic boyfriend. You're an ignorant girl. So there you go. You get that. And then guess what? It triggers it in your mind. And so what do? I'm sorry, mom. That's what you're telling yourself. I'm sorry, dad. And you're trying to live up to that, but it's not the same person. And so your brain is connecting two different memories with things. But that's where it starts, is you were a kid and somebody that you respected really chopped you down. And from that moment on, you never realized it. And you strive the rest of your life, kind of like most dads who, if you have I had a best friend who her dad was really just crazy. She was in 10th grade going to summer school classes for college credit. And you know what? He pushed her so much that she fell apart as an adult and didn't make it. And now she's passed. So it all starts in childhood, and it starts with our parents. And if it's not our parents, it's that authority figure that you respected that totally broke you down. And we don't figure this out. And so we spend our whole lives chasing something that we just need to say to ourselves, you know what? It's okay. You lived your punishment. You spilt your milk. Clean it up. And, you can't hold that over your head forever. So that's the biggest thing. Stop holding something over that happened 20 years. You lived it. Don't beat yourself up for it anymore. It happened because you needed to learn from it. And if it was super, super hard, that was because you didn't learn from it the first 50 times. So the universe said, all right, I got something for you. You can't ignore this one. Again. Watch this. And I've learned that. So you can't escape them.
Yeah, you keep going through it until you get it right. Unfortunately. Yep. But yeah, it all stems back from your childhood. And I know there's so many of us. And honestly, I don't think that in most cases that the authority figures or parents mean to do those things, right? So like what I've learned from this experience and going through this is the trauma that it caused me. Well, now I don't want to inflict this on my children, right? And how do I reverse that and stop it, right?
So that's like the biggest thing with me, because I have a 9-year-old daughter and she's a Scorpio and I'm a Pisces. So I don't know if you know anything about zodiacs, but
yeah, I do.
Scorpios, if you make them mad, they will light the whole world on fire and watch it burn and not care. Like, don't make a Scorpio mad. So my daughter, I've learned, because I came from a household of yelling and really loudness and chaos. And At one point when I was that's what made me leave my toxic marriage is I looked at my daughter trying to hide from me and my husband. We were in our townhouse. I was on one level, he was on one level, and she was in the middle trying to find somewhere to hide from us, going, oh my God, like I can't deal with you guys. And that moment is what taught me, you know what? I gotta stop this because now I'm replaying my whole life. Like, why am I doing this to my kid? And that's what made me stop. So it's you as a parent has to go. I have to my daughter knows when she's pushed me because I have to go real slow and talk very, very slow because I don't want to yell and I don't want to tell her. And it's our like things like, no, I can't buy you that we don't have enough money. That's the biggest thing to make your kid grow up and never have enough money either. It's little tiny things. But once you start going on this journey and you start taking this self-care journey, you start finding things in yourself and start being critical about them. You're like, okay, well, this is a mess. How do I fix it? And that's what I started applying with my daughter. Because of the divorce and everything, I feel that I'm a better mother now. And I don't just shout out these crazy things that my parents shouted out to me and your parents shouted out to you. So it's just funny as parents, we get so frustrated. We say things and we're like, why do we just say that?
I know.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I love that you're bringing that up, girl, because, I have a Scorpio child too. And I'm a Gemini. So you're a Pisces. So you're one of the most sensitive signs in the zodiac.
Yes.
And then same here, Gemini, very air-based. And so, I feel everything. And the moment you come into my presence, and so, but the Scorpio is a child. They're the yogis of the planet. So they've come actually to lift your star, to help you tap into that.
And she's a rainbow child as well. I don't know.
So is my son.
Okay, so indigo, you have your indigo child. I'm an indigo child. That's like the warriors of kind of like Robin Hood. We come to wrong the right or right the wrong. But the rainbow children are like, when you look, they have big, deep eyes. Yes. And when you look at them, their job is to come here and they love you. They love to hug. They love to fill you with love and light. And that's their gift. That's cool thing.
It's awesome that you're bringing that up because my son, the Scorpios too are very, very old souls. Yeah. And so my son, when he was 5 years old, he got out of the kindergarten area and he went on to the regular elementary school area and he climbed underneath the truck and they, like a utility truck. And so they found him underneath this truck and they pulled him out. And, this is in the 90s. And so they're shaking him. How dare you? And my son looks at him and this is very deep. And he says, I've come before and I'll come again. And, me being his mother who had already been to the other side from a near-death experience in the 90s, when they called me to the school, I was able to help them understand, listen, this is what's going on. But the special ed teacher, she was, she did the Tao. She taught about the Tao and the Tao. Mm-hmm. And so she was able to help them understand. But they tried to classify him as HD, issues with all of that.
That's interesting that you said that because at one point, because of the divorce, because I had a lifetime divorce, like my divorce lasted for a year. So, my daughter started having problems in school and she's already ADD, but I haven't got her diagnosed because I don't want to have to put her on medicine, unless it gets out of control. Well, she started tipping over desk because she was just so frustrated at school and the kids were being mean to her. I was going to put her in special ed because I just needed something because she gets real frustrated if there's too much noise. And I just wanted her to be in a more, smaller setting. And it's funny, my angels X'd this out because I was literally at the meeting about to sign the paper to get her in there. And the lady told me that I have to give up all rights to put my daughter in special. Yeah, exactly. She told me that the nurse, okay, I'm a medical assistant, work for specialty doctors. She told me that the school nurse is allowed to have any medical say over my daughter. I said, give me my paper back. I am not signing my rights over to the school of elementary school because I want my daughter to have, that was the craziest thing. And that's how your angels, by the way, don't force something. If you're at something and it don't feel right, because those people looked at me, how embarrassing was it to look at my daughter's second grade teacher and the school counselor who already have their opinions about me and say, you know what, thank you for your time, but we're not going to do this. Goodbye. And because my angel said, don't you put her in that. Don't, she is a rainbow child. And so having that and knowing this about her, I really strive to not shut that down, because I don't want her to be like me at almost 40 trying to figure out her gifts again. And that's what happens, is we have all these beautiful gifts, and because we don't fit in with society and or whatever societal norms is. And by the way, if you do know the person who sets the societal norms, I would like to talk to that person on my show, because I still haven't figured out who the societal like who's the person that says, yes, we deem this okay in society, and no, this is not okay in society. Yeah. Who is that person? Because I still have yet to find the founder of this.
It's the followers, you know, it's like, it's the person, the first person that does it, and then all the people follow just because they did it.
So they're looked up I told the store people, by the way, because I'm a funny kind of gal, and I told them, I'm going to help you guys sell your ice cream, and I'm going to help a pandemic come on this ice cream, because, you know, people went and bought out all the toilet paper just because they saw the person in front of them, monkey see, monkey do. So I was like, I'm going to help you guys. I'm just going to start coming in here and buying all your ice cream, just so people start coming and buying all your ice cream and see if my social experiment is true.
Well, you know what? So listen to this. So what I call that, because I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner through Center for Spiritual Livings, and we call that universal subjectivity. And so what that means is where two or more gather in consciousness, gather in that vibrational frequency of fear and not enough and lack, and even going into the idea of not enough money. And so we set that up. And when we come together with energy, what happens is we grow that power, we grow that energy, and we send that out into the ether of the universe, and we're pulling back to us what we believe. So if we believe there's not enough, there's no, there's no money and all this and that, we can only pull back our mental equivalent.
Exactly. And I told, that's the biggest thing that I teach people, is stop living in scarcity, stop living in lack. Whatever, I'm a big Abraham Hicks fan. Whatever you give out to the universe, it's going to come back. When I went through, because I quit my job as a medical assistant, and I had to go through my spiritual awakening and do my thing. And I sat there for 6 months in a real deep depression. And the thing that made me stop it, and this is the craziest thing, I was sitting there one morning, and when we have bad body images as women, we get up, we're like, you're ugly, doing our makeup, we're like still going through it, but we don't say anything. It's all in here. Well, my angels, one morning I was doing that, and I was not having good thoughts in my brain, and they were tired of it. I looked up, and if my boyfriend hadn't seen this on the bed, I wouldn't believe it. He wouldn't believe it. The light bulb, those really big, huge vanity bulbs. I watched it start coming out like this, and then it popped out, landed on my tile counter, did not break, and rolled over. And I said, I'm sorry, angels. I will keep a more positive mindset. I apologize. It scared the crap out of me, and I'm still a little traumatized to this day. So I do not have bad thoughts. That's a good way to not to wake up and stop having bad thoughts, because that's what the universe will eventually do. We think we're in control down here, but if you're not living your true path and you're trying to be a part of the followers and fit in with everyone and not be your true authentic self, have fun right now. But one day the universe, when it pulls your number, there's no escaping it. Because if you do, I've met people who have spiritual awakenings that try to pretend it's not happening. So then they get stuck. And then when they get stuck, those are the bitter hatred people that you meet, that are just like opinionated. They're judgmental, they're critical of everything, and they because they're so scared of whatever they need to face, that fear is consuming them, so therefore they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there and not enjoying life. And that's why I meet people who are so angry now, because I used to get really triggered when I met rude, angry people. But now I just almost feel like, wow, what's going on in your life that you're so angry? Because, yeah, there goes that Pisces empathetic person, because I look at a killer and I'm like, who hurt you?
Well, I like to say, I love that you brought that up because, one of the things that my mentor has taught me for the last 20 years is that every single person is the face of God. They are the individualized experience of this infinite intelligence. And so we're given free will. So what people don't realize is that when we are being from a particular feeling, a particular emotional energy, and we're putting that out, what we're doing is we're pulling to us what's seeking to be healed, what's being revealed.
Exactly.
And so in those moments that kind of energy, we could call it negative or angry or bitter, when that energy shows up in our moments, instead of emotionally attaching to that energy that's showing up, we can become the observers. And we can look at that part of ourselves, because if we're attracting it somewhere in us, it's revealing itself as a mirror of a part of ourselves that's ready to be released, that's ready to be let go of. And so what I do is I have become the observer because I have mastered living in the moment, or I'm mastering more and more every day. But because I can look at that and I can say, well, thank you for showing up. You're not going to stay here very long. What I'm looking at is, how is that serving me? And then I go into the realization of, what is it I really want? What do I really want to feel? I want joy. I want peace. I want happiness. I want laughter, freedom of movement. And then I am being more from that emotional state. And as a result of it, guess what? More of that is showing up in my now moments.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's funny that you, that's why I was smiling, because you're like, it's fun. I love talking to you too, because you guys are like women of my own soul. Like what you're talking about, it's funny. Me and you have like the exact same teachings. And so we all just have different ways of wording all of it. But that is the biggest thing that I teach people, because that was part of, the universe put me through, literally an angel boot camp. Because they're like, okay, hot mess, you want to go around? I've been a firecracker my whole life. I've had stories, because I've been very volatile, and because when I didn't know how to express myself, and when I was growing up, I was taught how to be aggressive to make it through my life, because unfortunately, I didn't get to grow up in, the suburbs and everything. I left my house when I was 14, which is crazy. My daughter did that. We would have some words. It would not happen. But somehow I left my house when I was 14 and decided to go be a big pants girl, and went and got in a relationship of 4 years till I was 18. And just all this stuff. I've my angels want me to do what I'm doing right now. So, and unfortunately, when you're a healer, that's what I'm on my second year, and I'm fully starting to blossom now, because you have to heal all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I can fake it till I make it. I've faked it till I made it my whole life. And I've met some important people, I've met all people from all around. So why can't I? Yeah. I've actually had to sit and face everything. And I've learned that all these people that, because I was at one point, I was going to the store and getting in an argument with everyone. I was like, why am I arguing? Like, I go to buy a soda, the lady drops my change or whatever, and something happens for me to keep getting in arguments with everyone. So I stopped and I was like, I can't keep doing this. This is tiring. And it's the hardest thing. But if you can look at that person and go, okay, what is it in you that I hate so much? Because there's something in you that is, I need to heal in me. And that's what I started doing, because it's a big pill to swallow when you look at some women and you're like, yay, you're an unhealed version of me. But once you can get past that and go, okay, whatever. So what is wrong with this lady that is wrong with me? Because I don't want to be this lady. And that's how I started taking my step of, and starting to learn that I can live in the love and light. And society's not going to keep telling me that I need to be aggressive, because I can be aggressive. I'm an indigo child. I'm a warrior angel. That's what we do. But that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do that for the bad people and tear out, like, kind of like Archangel Michael, when he was putting Satan down. That's what I do, is to do the good, but I don't bring the bad energy. And that's what a lot of people like to say, how can you be, you're so sensitive. I've been called a crybaby my whole life, and they don't understand the energy but I'm okay with it, because now that I've gotten past that critical thinking of, wow, that person can't be me. Well, that person is me. So what's wrong with me? Because I need to move past this, and I want to be healed so I can heal you guys, because there's a much bigger thing going on here than who's got the cutest shirt and the greatest hair. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it's a whole path but a lot of people don't understand. In the holistic side, you can't be an energy healer and all this unless you're willing to face your stuff. That's why most women fail in this industry, because they pretend. And y'all, I don't know if you can read auras or not, but most people can. They know if I'm in an awesome mood, because I'll have this big, I've been told it's like a bright tower light behind me.
Yep.
And if I'm not, they're like, what's wrong with you? So I can't even like come in here and smile. They're like, tell me what's
They
wrong.
know. Uh-huh.
It's a very you have to learn to do it a different way and be authentic and live in your authentic self and accept the unhealed parts of you and start working on healing them. That's my biggest advice. So
I love it. I love it. How did you get your start with the angels? I mean, let's back up for a second and let's talk about, because we want people to realize that these angels are here available to all of us. I mean,
yeah.
I myself I love that you're an angel intuitive too, because that's my gift as well. And so
Nice.
the angels literally speak to me every day. In fact, my angels are saying right now to me, now is the time. I keep having Mother Mary come.
Nice.
And Mother Mary is saying, speak your truth, share this love with other people. That love is what we need to bring forward right now. And the
Exactly.
people, like you said, the people that are in that place of what I like to call lower vibrations or lower energy, we're supposed to light the path for that to shine on them and to see that love in them, no matter what the appearance is. So tell us a little more about that for yourself.
So I had, like I said, I had quit my job as a medical assistant because I was going through my divorce, and it was just a bad thing. So um, my husband at one point had kidnapped my kid from me, unenrolled her from school. I live in Colorado. He went to Iowa, enrolled her in school, went and lived out with his buddy, and he was trying to lure me up there. I had a high-speed chase in Colorado on the highway, and got my daughter back. Whole thing, but looking back, I'm glad I got through all of it. My angels helped me every step of the way. They even got me a free divorce lawyer. I didn't even have to pay for my divorce. That's the power of your angels, because and he had to sell his car to pay his lawyer. He went through 2 lawyers, and I still won. So, anywho, Dilly, I just like to share people who, angels can do a lot of stuff, but so I started seeing repetitive numbers. I started seeing 7-11 twice a day. I started seeing in the morning and at night. And what your angels will do is the universe confirms things in threes, but our human mind doesn't pick up. They're always giving us signs all day long, but we don't pay attention to stuff, or we write it off as coincidence. But when something keeps happening and happening, that's when your brain's like, okay, let's evaluate this. So I started looking up 7-Eleven, and it's funny, I don't know if you've ever went down the rabbit hole of the internet.
Yes, lots of
All of a
times.
sudden you start off here, and yeah, you
Yes.
don't even know where you end up. Well, this is when Doreen Virtue, anyhow,
Love
before she
Dorian.
went and did her thing. This was when she was really active, and and I was thinking about signing up for her course to be a certified angel reader, but I was like, that's kind of a steep price, and I don't know if I want to pay all that. So I was just thinking about it. I was like, I've self-taught myself my whole life. I'll just figure it out, you know? And so I went and got my cards, and then I just started to keep getting these angel signs, and it's like crumbs. And I just I was thinking about being a life coach, and the angels got me to an Instagram page where this guy had just paid for the Doreen. He just got his Doreen Virtues certificate for being an angel intuitive, and I was like, ooh. So with my spiritual awakening, I feel like I have different guides, different people that come to me, and it's a little hard to explain. But all of a sudden, I'm not a reader. The last book series that I read was literally V.C. Andrews in like 8th grade. Okay, I don't know if you remember Flowers in the Attic. Yeah, that's
Yep.
how old that. That's how much
I'm right there with you.
and I've done like school. Like the only reading I did was for my college, and textbooks are not fun to read. Well, on my spiritual awakening, I would get like 20 books at a time. I was reading 300-page books in like 2 days, just soaking up all this knowledge. I have notebooks of notes that I just took. And I was just like, I'm doing this. And I was like, I'm going to get me a coaching business, because I knew life coaching was a thing. But then I was like, I'm going to do my spiritual thing, because my biggest thing is I don't want to be a woo-woo fortune teller. And when people think I'm that, I'm like, no, I'm not going to predict your future, because first of all, you have free will, and I can tell you, a basis of what's going to happen. But if you don't follow the guidance, there's so many different alternatives that could happen. But and I didn't want to be the card reader. I didn't want to be those weird card readers that everybody, Miss Cleo and all those people that they made fun of. I don't know. I just didn't want to do that, because this was very special to me. My gift was like, ooh, I can help people. I can take away your sadness. That is better than a gift of money, because we put all our basis in the value of money. Money is a piece of paper. Knowledge is forever. And I tell people, a successful, rich person, go talk to a really rich person. They have never worked a day in their life, not because they're lazy, because they have knowledge. Rich people don't work. They invest, and they have knowledge, and they quote use both of those things to manifest stuff. And that's my other thing, is I teach people to stop working your fingers to the bone unless it's gratifying to you, because society's lying to you that you're going to get this magic star for making your hands bleed. And we need those workers, but you need to be happy, because the universe also brings elementals to put those people that you're like, why are you so happy that you're just working? Those are elementals. Those are like the little elves that come in, and their job is to be happy, to help get the vibration going, to get everybody else going, to whistle while you work, kind of thing. So
well, that's why I know you like Abraham, and that's why I've been studying Abraham for 23 years.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And so here's the thing with Abraham. Abraham says it's about going back to the moment, because yesterday is over, tomorrow has not yet occurred, today is all there is. So it's about attaching to the energy again, the energy. So she talks about good and greater good. What if all there was good, and what we would classify as bad was just that old program running in us, that she likes to call it the carnal mind. The carnal mind part of us is showing us where our habits are aligned and connected to, the universal belief of, bad. Instead, why don't we connect with good and joy? Because, like, let's use abundance, for example. See, we think of abundance as money, and all money is energy. So if we recognize that all there is energy, when we walk out the door, we're like, woo, whoa, the air that I breathe, and I connect and align with it. And all of a sudden here I'm connecting and aligning with the awareness of the abundance of the trees and the flowers. And, so when we're aligning with the idea that abundance is everywhere, what happens is once again, we're putting that out that energy out, and we're pulling to us even the greenback, because now we're aligned with the belief that abundance is everywhere present. And as a result of that, when we're being more from that, guess what? Good and greater good beyond what we could analyze, rationalize, and scrutinize is demonstrating in our physical world as form, because we're putting out and being from.
Exactly.
That's capital FROM, from
Nice.
that energy.
Yes. I like it. I love it. That is so true. And I really feel that people need to own their energy more, because it's funny now, because before, like I said, I was very volatile. A lot of women aren't gonna, a lot of coaches, okay, there's some people that are open, honest. I like to be honest because I don't feel I can connect to you if I paint this picture of perfection. You're like, well, I wish I could be like you, because our people are already telling me that. So I'm like, hey, you can be like me, but you're gonna have to learn how to own it. And when I get mad now, or if I have a bad moment, I remember Abraham Hicks, one, it said, I think it's 16 seconds to
16
get a
seconds.
thought,
Yes.
to get the thought train going. Okay, so I'm like,
Yep.
good, I have 8 seconds to retract that. Yeah,
That's how I do it too. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
that's funny, because I listened to that the other day, and it was talking about, because that's what I tell my clients, is that you can have a bad thought, and I also, it's about your ego.
Yes.
And I teach my clients all have to, they have to name their ego, because the thing is mine name is Jessica, because for one,
Okay.
people
Jessica?
have Jessica, because
Yeah.
my name's Jessie, but my whole life people decided they wanted to call me Jessica. They're like, why is your name not Jessica? It has to be Jessica. I'm like, no, it's really Jessie, spelt like a boy, promise. I don't know, my parents named me it, but please don't call me Jessica. So now I hate that name so much that when I got older, I was like, guess who my alter ego is? Her name is Jessica. And I call her, it's that good and bad voice, the good and bad angel that you have on your shoulder. That little critical voice that says, they're all gonna laugh at you, or they're nobody likes you. That little voice is Jessica, and I have to tell her to sit down and be quiet, because you have your soul on your left side, and you have your you have your ego on your left side and your soul on your right side, and they can't function together. It's like oil and water. That's pretty much how your ego goes. So most of the time when your angels, if you have very vivid dreams, it's because your angels come in to give you your messages. If you're a very closed off person, if your third eye is very closed, you're very, can't see more than this little box. Your angels are more than likely you're gonna have some vivid dreams and waking up going, oh my God, I had this dream. Well, that's because those were your angels coming in to bring you your messages, because they can't, they don't have to fight with your ego when you're sleeping. When you're sleeping, it's asleep. So they can just talk to your higher self, and the messages go back and forth. And if you wake up a lot at between 1 and 4, most likely you're having a spiritual awakening, or 1 and 5, because that's the time that the veil's the thinnest, and they don't have to fight with your ego and all that stuff. So it's very important to know the left and right side. And if you start feeding your right side more, because I tell my clients the easiest way to remember is the left side, we use logic and we do things like math with our left side of our brain, and the right side we do art and fun things. And so, you have to learn how to balance those. But if you keep living in your left side of your brain, that's why you're cutting off all your blessings, because you're too critical, and you have to be open-minded to let the universe flow through you. You're putting up a big brick wall. That's why a lot of people don't understand, they're unconsciously blocking their blessings, because things only happen in a moment, and things can change in a moment. That's my biggest thing to tell people. If you're going through it, I promise you, I have so many stories for my whole life, even more now, with these. But even before my angel stories, I had angel stories before, I just didn't know, but I almost died in a car accident. When I was 19, I joined a magazine crew. That's the direct sales crew I did. I was manager. The stupid girl that was driving didn't have a license and was driving 100 miles an hour. I fell asleep in the front seat because it was 9. I didn't have my seatbelt on because I was just like, I'm tired. We were going back to the hotel. This dumb girl was weaving in and out of traffic, flipped the Ford Explorer 3 times. We flipped down an Atlanta highway. I'm getting chills right now.
Wow.
Because we flipped 3 times down the Ford. We had 6 girls in there. Not one person had their seatbelt on. I'm the only one who I have, they had to reconnect the tendons in my elbow because after we got done flipping, it landed on my side and my elbow went down the street. Do you know that after the car stopped on the highway, it was around Halloween, a carload of nurses pulled over, and before the ambulance got there, they were on their way to a Halloween party.
Wow, divine timing.
Everybody crawled out of that car. Not one person died. And I'm the only one that got hurt. The only one. And I hurt my elbow. I'm really grateful though, because my elbow's really ugly and it bothers me sometimes when people stare at it because, it's obviously I almost got my arm detached.
Right.
But then I think about it, I'm like, who cares? Because that's a scar of you're alive. Like when I look at this sometimes, I'm like, thank you for having the rest of my arm because my arm was stuck like that. Like I could have had no arm at all. So, it's the little things that we take for granted. But I wanted to share that as an angel story because that is a really huge and I didn't but I've had occurrences like this happen my whole life, and that's what really pushes me to put my message out there, because I know that I've been in almost every situation that you could imagine possible. I think that's part of being a light worker. I've just been around and I don't even know, but I've also seen magical things happen in an instant, because if it's not your time to go, you're not going to go. But you need to start putting, our angels are always here, but due to free will, if you don't ask them for help, they have to sit there and face palm and just be like, oh my God, will you please ask me for my help? Because they're just like, I can help you. I can make this so much easier. Just gotta, say the word. But that's what I teach people is that if you ask, because I have super bad anxiety, for all my PTSD and everything that I've had in my life. And at 30, I finally grew enough courage to go to the doctor and say I have a problem with anxiety, because when you're a medical person, that's embarrassing to go to the doctor and say I have a depression issue, or it's kind of a taboo kind of thing, even though we all know. It's just, you feel kind of, wow, I'm a patient. I went there and my doctor was very unkind to me. She was actually told me it was all in my head. She was the worst doctor ever, and that's what also has fueled me, because I've had so many doctors. I mean, my panic attacks, I've had a panic attack for all day. I've had one literally all day. I've had one when they first started. I had them for 4 hours, and my daughter was like 1.5, and I couldn't move. I literally had to sit next to my sink and hold on to my baby and pray that it would, because I couldn't make it go away. And nobody would give me medicine because they all wanted to give me depression medicine. And I'm like, this is crazy. So it's a really big need out here. And that's why women are, not even just women, people are just like, they want hope. And when you go to your doctor and you finally get up enough bravery to say, I'm disappointed in myself, I can't control my emotions, please help me. And they go, well, you're crazy. So just take this pill and you'll feel better. And that is, unfortunately, and I'll let you guys know, in the medical field, there's no science on how they put you on this medicine, by the way. They're like, red pill, blue pill. We'll try this one. Hope you have a good reaction, and if you don't, come on back because we'll get you another one. I've literally sat down and talked to doctors, and if people knew how they went eeny, meeny, miny, mo, And that's about how they pick it out. And so they try you on one, and I was tried on Lexapro, and I lost my insurance, and it cost $100 a bottle after that. Guess who had to take themselves off of their Lexapro by themselves? Not a good idea. Don't ever do that to anybody out there. But I'm just telling you, this is the kind of things that I've went through that I don't wish on anybody else to ever go through. And now that I've experienced them, it is in my heart to heal somebody so they don't have to. And I meet more clients day and more every day that are just so desperate for relief, for happiness, and your angels are there and they can give it to you, because now that I've learned my angels, Archangel Raphael's my biggest one. And if I start having a panic attack, I don't know what the magic is, but in 10 minutes, I can ask him, please, I can't do this. I need your help. And in 10 minutes, I'll just, kind of calm myself, but it'll take it away. And I could never do that before. So,
well, it sounds like, moving back to that whole word, I like to call it word, toxicity. It really is toxicity that is going on within, I don't want to say everybody, but I want to say that there's been toxicity in most of our lives in relationship to all these emotions. And as you said in the very beginning, these triggers from an event that occurred, whether it be in childhood or at different points in our lives. And it's manifested in all of these experiences in relationships, whether it be in a relationship with a man or just relationships with people in general.
Awesome.
And I think that people need a way to understand how they can ask. So when you're talking about angels, would you say that angels are available to all of us? And how would you ask? What would you tell people who are listening right now? How can they tap into this wisdom and this higher state of consciousness in themselves?
So that's the biggest thing is, like I said, you just have to ask, because I think that's why I really want to do this too, is because there's so many people out there that have given the wrong misconception of what we do out here, like me and you. Not there's a lot of people out here that it's all entertainment, and what they're saying is real, but the difference is they don't care if they deliver you're gonna lose your everything tomorrow. They'll do it with a smile and keep on going. Me, I get those messages, but as I'm not supposed to give you everything. We're not supposed to know everything as humans. As humans, we only use so much of our brain anyways. If we used it, what is it, like 6% of our brain, I think we use? If we used all of it, like, our brain would be an overload. But it's really not that hard to ask for help from your angels. You literally just got to say, angels, help me. And because, like, when you put it out, you got to say this prayer and that prayer, and you got to go and do a hala. People are like, no, I need help. And this is why I'm so big on telling people my stories, because I literally, when I had my panic attack, I will literally sit there and say, angels, and if you know the archangel, he's the Archangel Raphael is the physician angel. So if you know, Archangel Michael is the one for courage. He's the head angel. It's like the president and the government. You got your creator, you got Archangel Michael, and he's like his bodyguard and the likeness of the creator. And then you got Archangel Raphael, who is the physician angel. But if you don't have to know their names. Obviously, if you want to get into it like I am, then it's probably good to know, like Chamuel's, Archangel Chamuel's the one of love. But if you don't know that, all you got to simply say is, please, angels, help me. Because I don't feel like it's only my angels. You have your ancestors out there. I had a meditation one morning, and because I've been in toxic relationships, my courage, my throat chakra is blocked. Everything's been suppressed on me. And I remember I had this Native American meditation music going on in the background, and I was in my room and the sun was coming in, and I asked to just please give me my power back. Please give me my power to start being myself again, because so many people have pushed that down in me that, you know, everybody's just walking over me now. And I had the most beautiful experience of, I just felt like I was literally getting my power back, you know, through that. So you just got to ask your angels, help me. And then you got to be open to their help, because that's the thing. They answer every prayer. But when we get nervous or we get sad or scared, we start shooting prayers out. And then we forget all the prayers that we shot out. And then they're like, okay, got that prayer checked off. Check, check, check. And we're like, man, our angels don't answer any prayers. What are you talking about? I got this whole list I just checked off. Because we don't open our mind that they're not going to, angels are like way up here and we're way down here. So it's kind of like a radio, tuning a radio in. They're not going to appear to you. Some people they do, but more than likely they're not going to appear to you in human form like on Ghost and just start talking to you and you're going to see them. You have to really get that clair going to get that. Most likely you're going to ask for something and then all of a sudden you're going to look over, and Archangel Michael's signature to let you know it's okay is a rainbow, because you know rainbows are supposed to signify everything's all good. I was having a really bad day, and my daughter was sitting with me, and I was listening to a DMX song, Lord Give Me a Sign. Okay, craziest thing. My daughter was sitting there on my lap reading a book outside with me on the chair. I looked down after, and it kept going, Lord, give me a sign. I don't know if you ever heard that, but
Yes.
I was just listening to it to raise my vibration. I looked down and my daughter opened up her book and it had a big rainbow on the book. And I was just like, you guys are funny, because that's what they do. That's my confirmation. But if you don't open your mind, I get pennies, I get feathers, I get brown and gray feathers that are signify pieces coming soon. So just hang on a little bit longer. But you have to be open, because it's not just the cards that you can use your environment as an oracle, but you have to be, if you ask for help, know that your prayers are always answered, but you have to be mindful to the answer that you get back. And if it's not the one that you want, stop forcing it, because that's our biggest problem. We'd have less problems if we don't get the answer that we like. Our angels say, no, do not do that. Do not pass go. And we're like, yeah, we'll do it anyways. And then they're like, you're making me work. So it's about listening to your angels. It's about having, and stop thinking they're, and you know what, you have free will. So stop asking everybody else for the answers. You know what I mean? Because at some point you need to know what you want. The angels can help you to a point, but they're going to meet you in the middle. And the universe doesn't know good or bad energy. It just knows energy. And it knows where you put your most of your focus into. So if you keep thinking about, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to pay my light bill. My light bill is gonna be astronomical. You're gonna get both of those things. But if you think about it and say, you know what, I'm gonna have a really high light bill this month, but something's going to help me out and break out, or you know, all of a sudden I'm going to get a coupon, or have that mindset, and things happen this way. And just real quick on this whole pandemic thing, I think it's funny, me and my boyfriend, no joke, before this whole thing broke out, I was talking to him because we had a roommate, and I said, you know, I asked the angels to help get people food. I would like to see people start getting food. It's not about money. People don't need money. People need some food. And we were saying something like that, like, angels, please help him get food. Please help. And I started seeing people not having food. And I don't know, it's just a weird intention, but no joke, all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, the government busts out with, we're giving everybody double food stamps. And I was like, no way. That is, like, I felt like I had a part of that, because we had put a really deep intention. It wasn't just something I threw out. It was something like, can you guys please help? I don't know. It was something like, please help get the world more food in America. because people would stop being so angry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it was just really very tight, funny the
I love
timing.
that you're saying all this. Well, because I am so open, and because I've had, several near-death experiences, it has shown me things that, are very deep. And so in this time, over the last 23 years, I've worked so deeply on the surrender in me and getting out of the old trauma and the old programs. And because I know that there's no separation.
Exactly.
And you can call it God, you can call it your higher power, you can call it infinite intelligence, you can call it the universe, but there is absolutely no separation. We are the individualized expressions of this I am source energy. But you said we have free will. And so in that understanding that we have free will, we can tap in to this universal presence that is in us as us. And so we're it. So if you want to call it God, we have the same powers as it. And so we can tap into that infinite I amness at any moment and get out of the way of the how. I connect with other entities, angels, the ascended masters, because I understand that there is no gap between time and space. And so what I've learned, what my angels and my ascended masters and my other people who I have been connected with soul contracts over and over, they share with me that the whole beauty of it is that there are higher dimensions of consciousness. And there's existence that's happening in dimensions beyond what we can even rationalize or fathom. But if we would just raise our belief, it's our belief that is the cause of what is showing up, in physical form. So if we believe there's not enough, if we believe that, my God, whatever it is I fear, because I am that, I pull more of that to me. And so I want to bring it back to the moment, because go back to the biblical verse in the Bible where we're in Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot is told, don't look back. Don't have your wife look back. And what happened? His wife was turned into a pillar of salt. And so I love to share with people, why are we looking back? How does that serve us? All that does is pull those emotions and those not good enoughs and all that doubt back into our present moment. And therefore, we're attracting into our experience all the things that have happened before. Exactly. And we say, why is this all showing up? It's showing up because we keep looking back. And so I love you brought, I like to talk about things you brought up. One of the things is, go back to Dr. Joe Dispenza. He says we live in 95% of our subconscious mind. And so that's all past programs, the sum total of all what once was.
Exactly.
And so here we are experiencing sadness. Go ahead.
I know. Sorry. I was just going to add that I feel like that's why we keep experiencing such sadness, because, for example, this whole pandemic thing, and what did they say? The 1800s, they had a whole flu epidemic like this.
Spanish flu.
But like somehow we forgot about all this stuff and like we're reliving the same thing what you were just talking about. Like, why is the society moving forward? Why are we just keep going backward, because we're still mulling over. And then finally, I feel like right now is the age of awakening, because everybody's starting to get the light bulb turned on them now. And now we're starting to go, why? Because nobody ever asked that question. Why are we doing this? Why do we keep doing what we're, at some point I believe that there needs to be structure and there needs to be, all that. But at some point, like, why do you have to control everything to every little detail? We are our own people, and we are born with the the consciousness of God for a reason. Like I don't think we're living to our full abilities
We aren't.
as light workers and humans out
No,
here.
no.
Like we are totally, like, if we're only using 6% of our brain, I'm just saying, like, we're just not living up to what we could totally be doing. We channeled the love and light more than the hate. We would have our own paradise on earth, but we chose, I almost feel like society chose to create this. I don't know. That's still
Well, it
one of
did.
my.
You know why? Because now is the time of the divine feminine. The divine feminine is what we could call the law of attraction. It's the soul. And so if you imagine, you go back to planting seeds in the very beginning, when we plant a seed of not enough, what are we watering? We're watering the seed of not enough. And so what's happening is we're giving power to the roots in that seed. And so that seed is coming up and it's demonstrating, all the struggle and all that, what I like to call false truths. And so right now is a time of going inward, because the divine feminine is the cog on the wheel that just says yes, yes, yes. And so when we ask ourselves, why does all this keep happening? It's happening to cause us to get clear about what we really want. What we really want is, like you said, peace, prosperity, love, joy, happiness. But then what we're putting out into the universe is the complete opposite. As Abraham would say, the contrast.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, we have, what an amazing conversation. It's been an hour already.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank you so much. I mean, Misty and I love having you. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think we'll have to have you again, because there's just seems like there's a lot of information here that, could be of value, to all of us. So thank you very much for being on. And we're going to be on her show at the end of May. So we're super excited about that, and how
these
how
two
we're all
ladies
helping.
are going to be on my, I've created, and it's a little backward because this was a thought, and it's, I'm very known for having random thoughts and just, I threw it out there and it stuck. And so I have 16 ladies, and I've made a series, and so this is going to be a limited series. So you guys are going to be part of like a little moment in history, because I've got all it's an empowered woman series, and you guys are going to come and share your story to success and how you became empowered women, and you get a little certificate at the end. And I'm very excited to be able to present this, because now that I made it, it's not just everybody's going to be a part of it. It's going to be only you 16 ladies. So I'm truly excited to commemorate this for you.
Yes, awesome. So I posted up your different ways that people can contact you. I posted up your website, your Instagram. Now, is this your website right here?
Yes, that's my website. And then I'm on Facebook.
I posted your Facebook right here. Go ahead and speak it to the people real quick.
I'm sorry?
This will be on a podcast as well. So go ahead and speak your tags and everything.
So you can reach me on the facebook.com Angel Vibes, ANGELVIBEZ. That's my Facebook. That's I have that one, and then my Instagram, and then my Instagram.
Tell them your Instagram.
My Instagram is instagram.com/Jess, JESS _INTUITIVANGELVIBEZ, and that's Angel Vibes, so intuitive Angel Vibes. And then I have my website, which is Jessie0697.wixsite.com/You're Grounded LLC. So, and you can always Google You're Grounded. It's UR and then space GROUNDED LLC, because nobody else has that name. So you can actually find it on Google if all else fails.
When I saw that name, I was like, oh, that is That is so smart. Like you must have been given that information,
Well,
right?
I don't know. Me and my boyfriend, I was trying to figure out how do I want to name my coaching, and it was a play on words. You're grounded,
Yes,
and then you're
yes.
grounded. So it was just, yeah. I was like,
Love
it's like telling somebody you're grounded, but then they need to be grounded, so it kind of worked.
Well,
I like that name.
awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
again so
Thank
much.
you. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
absolutely. All right. You know what? The Expanded Woman Network podcast group, we absolutely love every single one of you. We love bringing, amazing people to our podcast to share with you and share their information. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this out. We absolutely appreciate every single one of you. And so if you want to hear more about us, you can visit our website as well. And that is www.expandedwoman.com. And this has been episode 5 of the Expanded Woman Network podcast. Until next week on Tuesday, please create a fabulous week. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.